Now, sati was practiced in North India, especially among the higher class women. On the other hand, the lower class women were still getting freedom to work in the field, work outside the home. These all things were there for the women in the context of 18th century. At the same time, NCERT also mentions about the Parda system. Now, Parda system was in existence in North India but not in South India. Similarly, Sati was much in existence in North India, rarely in South India. So this is how the things have been mentioned. At the same time, society was highly patriarchal. On the other hand, NCERT also writes that in some pockets of India, especially Northeast and Kerala, the society was also matrilineal. Alright, so matrilineal like Nair society, Nair family. This all things are mentioned there in the context of 18th century of economic and social aspect of India. Fine. Then you can say education. Now in education also, the various, you can say, schools, maktabs, the other Islamic schools all opened in the 18th century as well. And therefore the NCERT mentions clearly the centers like Thiruvananthapuram, centers like Varanasi, they became the centers of Sanskrit learning in the 18th century. Alright, Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala had emerged as a center of Sanskrit scholarship in the 18th century along with Varanasi. Similarly, Persian was equally favored by all the people of India, including Hindu and Muslims. Alright, so Persian was equally a very favorable language to be developed got developed in the of course 18th century. Fine. This is how the things have been mentioned about education also. Last but not the least, cultural. Look, culturally also, I told you about Lucknowi culture, that is in Awadh, got emerged. Similarly in Kerala, Martanda Varma, Raja Varma, they all actually were known for painting, music, art, etc. Fine. At the same time, the so-called Qawwali, Ghazals, all actually got developed in the 18th century because of the intermixing of both Sufism and Bhaktism in the 18th century altogether. So composite culture also got developed in the 18th century, and very nicely it is mentioned in the NCERT about the scholars, which can be also asked to you as a question. The scholars like Mir and Sauda. Now Mir, Sauda and Nazir. Mir, Sauda and Nazir. Now there were the Urdu poets, Urdu scholars who are known for promoting Urdu poetry in India at that point of time in the 18th century. So Urdu poetry was promoted by these people, Mir, Sauda and Nazir in the 18th century, and Mirza Ghalib is the most famous name. Mirza Ghalib, he became the most famous person in the promotion of Urdu poetry, but in the 19th century. So Mirza Ghalib was in 19th century and Mir, Sauda and Nazir was in 18th century. So these things are very clearly mentioned in NCERT, from where you can also expect a question there in the examination. So therefore, if you see the development of various aspects of culture, especially in the 18th century, they all negate that it was a dark age altogether. So in that way, what we have to finally conclude, this question has already been asked in the UPSC mains. So we have to conclude that of course there was a declining trend, especially in the political context. Political decentralization was there. Political, you can say, centralized power was started declining by the 18th century, that was there. But at the same time, cultural, educational, socio-economic aspects also were in existence. Rather, it was also developing in the form of composite culture, and development of composite culture in the 18th century was the biggest achievement. Alright, and therefore we cannot actually conclude that the 18th century was a dark age. Fine. So on this particular line only, the NCERT finally concludes the chapter number 1. Fine. So with this, chapter number 1 is now concluded. Now we'll be entered to chapter number 2 in my next video. Okay. So thank you. See you again in a short while. Thank you.